Hi, my name is Mac, and I'm working on animation for the Detroit International Festival of Animation here at a program called Slam & Co. in San Francisco. I wanted to take you guys on a little bit of a journey, or I guess an update of what I've been doing so far. I worked on the script, I've done designs for the characters, I've done model sheets, concept art, and now I'm doing prop design. So I'm gonna give you guys a little update of what I've done the past week with this prop design and a little bit more concept art, catch you guys all up to speed. Let's start with the prop design. For the props, I kind of focused on the different things that the characters would be interacting with. When I was doing some research on making prop designs, you have to think of not just the space, but also how the characters are gonna interact with the products in the space. There's only a few props I really wanted to consider because these are the props that are kind of going to be touched, I guess. They're going to be stuff in the background, probably. Those are just not going to be like interacted with. So you have to kind of think about what are the shapes of these things, what are the size of these things, the scale and everything. So let's start out with the first one. I first worked on Tunda's props, or the things that Tunda is going to interact with. A lot of things that the interactors have to do with the dollhouse. So there's things in the first floor of the dollhouse that Tunda kind of picks up, packs away. I drew a bunch of those things, like a brush, there's like a cat statue, books, and worked on most of the concept art of that. And then I thought, actually when I animate this, what are the sizes of everything going to be? So I know what they look like, but in comparison to Tunda, what are the sizes of these objects? So what I did is I made a sheet, had Tunda on it, and I put like a scaling thing to show how tall Tunda is. And then each object on the side, I kind of measured it. Everything on that page is like to scale. And I think that's going to help me when I'm animating to like reference back to like, oh, how big is this book supposed to be? How big is this statue supposed to be? Is it going to fit in his bag? I had to think about that. Like his bag grows when these things get placed in his bag. So I was playing around with that a lot and like thinking of different ways to scale and make sure things like made sense. And I liked how a lot of Tunda's props came out. The next thing I worked on with Tunda is his gear props. So gear are things that they're going to be using to navigate the space. Tunda has these nails. So the nails are used to kind of like, I think I'm giving both Tunda and Kinji almost like propelling like mountain climber type of gear because they're small creatures. So they need to like go up and down like bigger things. So Tunda has nails that he kind of like smacks into the wall, and like he like kind of picks his way up. I do kind of a picture of him kind of doing that, and like the size of the nails are also on his backpack. And I think they came out pretty cool, and he looks kind of cool as he's climbing. In terms of Kinji, let's move on to Kinji's props. Kinji doesn't have that many props. I'm thinking about mostly her interacting things in her burrow. So the scene in the animation, it starts in Kinji's burrow. And so I wanted to make some things that she interacts with, like her tea set. She has like an acorn like teapot and stuff like that, like a little acorn cap that she uses to actually drink the liquids and stuff. So I designed that, and I kind of made like more of a soft look. I know a lot of these prop designs are on Photoshop, and my animation isn't going to be on Photoshop, but I just kind of like to see like the concept art looking kind of like soft, because like I feel like raster images make things a little bit softer. And so I worked on making Kinji's teapot as well as her fishing line, which is also going to be part of her gear. Her fishing line is also kind of used to propel and like go up and down things. So I wanted to give it kind of like a fun look. Thing about the fishing line though, I don't think I'm gonna make it seem like it's an actual fishing line because it's very small, and it's something probably that Kinji would have made. So I wanted to keep it really small, and I want to give it the idea that the string is like kind of like replaceable in some ways, but I'm not sure how to convey that yet. I don't know if I should have a scene of like Kinji like collecting these things at this point, because this is kind of like a short animation, so we're just gonna have to infer where she would have gotten this. I mean, they live in a forest. There's probably a lake. There's probably just random fishing lines that people have just left in the water because they got trapped or stuck. So thinking about where she could have gotten it, in my head at least, kind of validates the reason why she would have had something like this. But the cute little sticker of the fish on it, I think gives it a little bit more character of what it actually is. Not just what it is, but also what it's inspired by. Next thing that Kinji also has in her house that she's going to be interacting with are matchsticks. And I drew a matchstick, and they're pretty big in comparison with a 7-inch tall creature. So I had to make sure that like there was an image of the matchstick being broken, because I feel like if I'm a small creature and I'm holding this like huge matchstick, I'm gonna like snap it or something. So it's easier for me to like light it and stuff like that. The next thing is the water cup, or I guess the water holder. Kinji has something that she's going to be using to pour into the teapot, or acorn teapot. And I was thinking more like a cap, almost like a spray bottle, you know, like those little clear caps you put on top of a spray bottle. I was thinking that, but upside down to hold water. So yeah, that's kind of like the direction of Kinji's props. And then in terms of Kinji's gear, as I told you, is the fishing line. And Kinji also uses that to propel. So I kind of like sized it up. I made like a scale of Kinji, and everything there on that page is to scale with the fishing line, stuff like that, just to give like an idea of how big everything is. And then finally, let's get on to the concept art I did this week. I only did 3 different pages. One of which was just like a revision to one of the pages. So Kinji's burrow, I added a water bottle, like the smaller water bottles, because I was thinking, okay, these creatures, they're living underground, they want water. Sure, they can go up and like go to a lake, but I thought since they're scavengers, they collect things, so they would have more like things that symbolize collection or like kind of like storing something. So the water bottle sitting there on the edge of the side, kind of a cute addition. I made like the little spigot at the end, so like, oh, what if they just want to like open it and like, you know, drink some water out of it or get some water out of it, like clean water. So I think that was like a nice touch. It does look kind of out of place, so I might change the color of like the water bottle paper, but at the same time I think it's more realistic because like, hey, like it's a water bottle that they just found. The next concept art I worked on was walking through the forest with the roly-polies. This one was my favorite because this is a scene that I was thinking about in my head a lot when I first thought about making Kinji. Of them walking the forest, going to the trash cans, and then they see all the roly-polies and they're just like, it's just a casual scene. It's nothing that really pushes the story per se in terms of like what's happening, but it just like gives the viewer a feeling of the environment. So I really wanted to seem like cozy and stuff like that. And I think Photoshop really does a good job at like giving that feeling. So I'm thinking about doing all the backgrounds in Photoshop and then doing the animation in like Adobe Animate and stuff like that. So I think it'll be fun putting it all together and seeing how the characters interact with their background and stuff like that. The next thing I did concept art wise was RWB, Red Wing Blackbird, flying over the town and seeing the trash can. He's the guy who tells everybody what's happening in the city and the good places to scavenge and everything like that. I like that scene. I think the first time I envisioned the scene was RWB flying over the forest. But then I was like, well, I should give kind of like an idea of how he even saw the trash can and stuff like that. So I ended up having the forest kind of on the side and then having the gas station and then a bunch of houses, having me an idea of like how the story is going to progress because certain characters are going to appear, but where are they going to appear from? Let's get an idea of the landscape. So I kind of just like mocked up some concept art with that just to give my head like, okay, this is how it's gonna work and this is how everything's gonna fit together and how it's gonna make sense. But you guys will know once I guess the storyboard is in progress or I start revealing more about the story. But yeah, I think that came together pretty nice. What I did that was kind of fun to draw was some sticker designs. I made a poll on my Instagram asking you guys if you would want Kinji stickers just to help support the journey and that makes you guys feel more, I guess, connected to the story and everything. Mostly because I feel like I do sell stickers on my website, but they're always not related to Kinji. It's like kind of like my business stickers and stuff like that. Like huge stickers from other cartoons, fan art, and like just like dogs and cats and like relatable objects. So I want to give you guys some options. So if you are interested in Kinji stickers and Kinji apparel and stuff, leave a comment below and let me know and maybe I'll make some stickers for Kinji. So if you're out there and you guys can like get a cute roly-poly sticker, but I was playing around with like just different designs and sketches of the characters just to have more fun and then get more used to drawing them and stuff like that. All right, now let's move on to talking a little bit about Slam. So I've been here for about 5 weeks, halfway through. I think I'm making pretty good progress on the animation, so everything kind of feels like it's in line and in time. And every week we have the check-ins and we have like things we have to do, a card that we get and we have to fill it. So this week I had to make 2 short form videos that are kind of like promoting my stickers. But there was some sort of disconnect that I was having. I want to support this animation a lot and I want it to keep going and I want to focus full-heartedly on it. That may or may not be possible, but I think I also don't want to lose sight of the North Star for this project. And for me, the North Star was just to create a community where people could kind of learn how to make an animation and go through the process of somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. So I want to make sure you guys are always part of that and you don't feel like, oh, you have to buy a sticker or you have to buy a sweater just to be here. So I still want to make free interactive content that everyone can participate in. They feel like a part of the journey. So I think my focus is kind of shifting towards just building a community of people making their own little projects, kind of working together and, you know, supporting each other. So yeah, I've kind of shifted towards that. I'm still selling stickers on magnetextart.com and sweaters. So if you want to support that way, you can. I'm not taking that option away, but I also don't want that to be the only option and it kind of like is pushed all the time, but I'm still going to mention it. But yeah, so there'll still be interactive content. I just want to also understand what would be helpful for you guys in terms of this. I know I'm doing like weekly videos and doing polls here and there on Instagram, but what else do you guys think would be helpful in this process of learning how to do an animated film from scratch? I know I'm not perfect and I'm probably not doing everything right, but even like feedback from you guys and then me kind of bouncing off, I guess, conversations with you might be helpful. So let me know how you guys want to navigate that and I'll probably do like more polls, I'll do more questions, whatever seems fit. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Another thing that I've been doing, I know I was talking about selling stuff, but I did make some pretty cute stickers. I made some Over the Garden Wall and some Ponyo fan art stickers, so I really like those 2 shows and/or movies, and I wanted to make some sticker designs, and I've used my sort of illustrator art style, which is like very vector based and very vibrant, and also like shadows here and there. And I really liked how the designs came out. I'll probably put them on the screen. Let me know what you guys think. They're available on magatexart.com if you do want to check them out. Pretty fun. But yeah, making good progress. Next week's probably gonna be storyboards and everything like that. I think 5 weeks is a good enough time to work on the storyboard of my animation. Maybe it's a lot of time, so I might get into the animation phase, who knows? But I want to take my time making the storyboard, making sure it's like correct. But I think I'm gonna spend a week doing that, and I'm not gonna show my progress till like the week after. So next week there's probably not gonna be a video of the progress, but the week after there will be, when I kind of feel more settled. All right, surprises. So things I've done at Slam. There's been a lot of things I've been doing at Slam, and one of the things is a possible collab. Well, it is a collab. It's not even possible it's happening at this point. I'm gonna tell you guys about it maybe next week as a short, or maybe a shorter long form video. But I'm pretty excited for it. I just can't release anything right now because we're still like making sure everything looks great and everything looks settled and everything like that. And yeah, I think that's probably all the updates I have this week. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.